3 weeks now, and being part of obviously the program, the organization. It probably started obviously when Coach Howard left a little bit, just having initial conversations. Obviously, their season was extended with the Crown and continued to go all the way until basically the last weekend of college basketball. I mean, I kind of, obviously everybody knows I came from University of Wyoming, so I mean, I kind of just stayed focused on the current task that I had with Wyoming, and but I would say that's probably when the initial conversations started, probably mid-March, I would say, in between the time when they started the Crown and obviously leading up to after they got done. That's when it started to really heat up and stuff.
What drew you to Nebraska?
Number one, obviously, the Big Ten. Originally from Chicago. I've grown up around the Big Ten and very familiar with the Big Ten. And I actually initially started my coaching career at Wayne State in Nebraska. And I was 22 years old at the time, and coming down here for the state tournament and really getting that experience of Husker Nation. That was probably the first time. So, I mean, I've always kind of had in the back of my head of what University of Nebraska was, especially their athletics program, and I've kind of just kept that in mind. And then obviously the opportunity to work for Coach Hoiberg and the staff that's under him. I mean, exceptional people. Obviously, there's a ton of momentum within the men's basketball program, especially the last couple of years, and I'm just excited to be a part of it.
What excites you about working for Fred?
Obviously, just his track record. Number one, I mean, I think the game has changed, right? I mean, he's been in every position throughout, I mean, professional athletics and college athletics, and I think that can really attract a lot of high-level recruits, and especially how you have to construct rosters and manage rosters. He's been in those positions. Myself, I've been in the college game for 20 years, so I've been at different levels, but being a resource and helping just with my experiences and my network of being at the mid-major level or junior college levels, like a lot of those levels now, you see those guys in a year or two moving up to high major basketball, and I felt like that with my experience and his experience, along with the staff's experience, I can be a part of continuing the success.
What have you been doing these past 3 weeks in terms of getting acclimated, getting familiar with you guys here and all that?
Yeah, number one, probably keep my head on my shoulders, just with moving and everything. But it's actually been great for myself. We had 2 weeks of workouts leading up to this week, which is a dead week. Finals going on next week. So, number one, I've just been trying to really get to know the guys that have been here. I've always thought that, number one, your players are your most important people within the program, and I've always stuck to that. So really trying to get to know the guys over the last couple weeks in the program, and doing whatever I can, if it's stepping into workouts, helping Nate out with workouts, and I just trying to go full head of steam with that. It's kind of different for me because the last 3 to 4 programs that I've been a part of have been takeovers. So this has been established. Obviously, they got their recruiting done within the portal when they're in March here. I know we're still trying to finish up a potential roster spot, but as far as from a recruiting standpoint, I've hit the ground running with a lot of 26s and 27s to try to get the ball rolling and continue to move forward as we head into a recruiting week next week, and then in June and July.
You mentioned most of their portal acquisitions were already part when you joined on. What was just your assessment of what they brought in, and how much influence did that have in you coming here?
Yeah, I mean, a lot, because I mean, I was familiar with a lot of those players. I really consider myself obviously kind of a student of the game, having a lot of knowledge within college basketball. I watch a lot of college basketball, and I felt like just those guys came from winning programs. They had some good seasons, and as far as how coach's system is with the personnel that fit, I felt like that was a big piece to me coming here, and as far as continuing the momentum of moving forward and getting to the tournament and winning a basketball game.
As far as on the court goes, what would you say your strengths and maybe your areas of expertise are from the basketball X's and O's standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, working with my last couple stops I've been at, I've worked primary on the defensive side of the ball, helped a little bit with the offensive side, but more so on the defensive side. And this gives me an opportunity to come here of really kind of helping coach from the offensive side, of helping him stay organized and giving different ideas for him, just to continue to expand our package on the offensive side of the basketball. I worked primarily with the bigs. The last few spots I've been at throughout my career, I've worked with the guards. I mean, I'm pretty well versed where I've been. I've been at obviously a lot of different levels, and the most important thing for me though is I tried to surround myself with winning people and winning programs, and I've kind of just stayed to that within my career, and it's obviously led me to a Big Ten position here.
What were those conversations like, I guess, early on, like with Fred, about what your role would be, what you would bring to the staff?
Yeah, I mean, I just told Coach, like, Coach, number one, when people go for jobs, I think a lot of people try to say they can bring this player, I know this agent, but I think at the end of the day, you have to adapt to who you work for. I mean, I've worked for 8 different head coaches in coming up with my 20th year, and I think I go, Coach, number one, I have to figure out how you guys operate. Obviously, knowing the type of people you have within your program, whatever I can do and the resources that I have, I'm going to adjust, and whatever winning qualities that I can possess and bring to the staff and to the program, to the players, that's what I'm here for at the end of the day, and that's how I've looked at every position where I've been.
The culture that has been built here over the last few seasons is really important to Fred. How did he kind of explain that to you, and how do you feel that you fit into that?
Yeah, number one is winners. I mean, I think like throughout when you look for guys in the recruiting process and stuff, try to look for guys that have come from winning programs, guys that have won state championship, transfers that have come from winning programs. I think that's one thing that can translate. And I think not necessarily just recruiting a star next to his name or somebody that has potential. I think winning goes a long way, and I think the more winning players you can get in your program, the more winning people you can get in your organization. I just think that can lead to success, and I feel that's who I am. That's how I've operated throughout my coaching career so far.
Those experiences when you were recruiting for programs that maybe didn't have as many resources help develop you as a recruiter to where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, number one, I mean, this is the first time I have a lot of resources and stuff, and for me, I've never looked at it where I've never complained, we don't have this or we don't have that, and I think that's what led to my previous boss I worked for as Coach Wicks at Green Bay. I mean, they came off of 16 wins in 3 years, and I felt like my experiences prior to being in the Horizon League and the Missouri Valley, I knew Coach Wicks for a long time. Coach, this is what I really feel how we can be different in the Horizon League, and we turned it around. And we got to Wyoming, which was Coach Wicks' dream job because he was from there and stuff, was the fact that if we didn't have everything we had at Green Bay, we just pivoted and moved on to the next challenge, the next opportunity, or next recruit, whatever it was. Where in this business, I think a lot of people sometimes complain if they don't have this. This is why we're not winning. This is like you just got to move on to the next and find the next best opportunity that can help lead to winning.
You've proven a pretty good track record of identifying talent that maybe was under the radar and then they become pretty good players. I guess in this kind of changing era of recruiting, and just with the haves and the have-nots in the NIL era, how important is that to be able to find not the obvious top-rated transfers, but be able to find guys that you can develop into those types of players?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big time deal because I mean I think there's so many. I've always felt like so many guys want to chase after. You're going to get a ton of recruiting battles, and all of a sudden you don't get that top kid you're trying to get. Now you try to maybe circle back, but somebody else is really putting the work for this type of player. And now you can't even get in with that type of player B. But I felt like it kind of just goes back to, I mean, I try to recruit guys that know how to play, that think the game, that are skilled, because I feel like guys can develop athleticism, guys can develop strength, and guys can continue to develop their skill set if they're about the right stuff. If they are live-it type of guys. And those are a lot of guys that I've tried to really focus on and really try to get to know within the recruiting process, more so obviously on the high school side, and then, but always from afar, still know who a lot of guys and a lot of recruits are, because on the bounce back, you might get them on the bounce back. And even if you have a 5-minute conversation with them, they might remember you a year from now or 2 years from now when they're in the portal to try to get back.
This being your first job at a high major school, does that make you reflect at all, just your journey, going D2, JUCO, all the stops you've been? And,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have told me that over the last, few weeks and stuff. Honestly, like, I've just kind of gone about my business and every day like I have been for 19 years. Like, when probably I have some time to really reflect, but I'm grateful for the opportunity, number one, to work for Coach and this university and Coach's program. I'm a pretty simple guy when it comes to just how I go about my day to day, and I'm pretty routine oriented. For me, coming from obviously Division II, being a Division II player, and kind of just working my way through the profession, and not really chasing this job, and I've turned down a lot of jobs for a few guys that have had a lot of success already throughout my career, and I've just continued to stay on my path and move forward.
Have you had many interactions with Fred in the past however many years, and if so, like, what were they, and what made you then maybe think about wanting to work for him?
Yeah, just through the profession stuff. Obviously some of the guys at Iowa State with TJ and Kyle Green. I played for actually Kyle Green as an assistant at Iowa State back 20 years ago. I've always stayed close with Kyle, and obviously Fred on the recruiting trail. Have known Nate for a long time too and stuff, and just being from Chicago, and obviously being with the Bulls and stuff, and then him coming back here, I've always felt like if an opportunity presented itself, and I had that opportunity, there's no way I could pass it up.
What goes into the Big Ten? Obviously you follow the conference, you've grown up around it. What separates this league from maybe even other power leagues that in terms of recruiting and development and all that sort of
Yeah,
thing?
number one, I think it's a well coached league from top to bottom. It's a very skilled league. It's a physical league, but I really believe it. The guys. I coached in the Missouri Valley for 4 years at Southern Illinois, and a lot of people ask me this throughout the time. Marcus Domask, who I coached for 4 years, went on to Illinois, did you think Marcus would be that good at Illinois? And I knew he would have a chance because I was with him every single day. I knew what his work ethic was. I knew what his routine was. Coach Underwood put him in a great spot and a great position to be successful and utilize his skill set and stuff. And but he's a type of guy that is multi-versatile, who is very skilled, who can score in a lot of different ways. And I think if you can have guys that are not just one-dimensional, and that really understand how to play, that can think and play, that's what I think the Big Ten is, along obviously with the physicality and all that.
When we could look at your on-court coaching style, I guess, how would you describe, like, are you the kind of a guy that gets after players? Are you hard-nosed, or like, how would you describe your on-court style, how you relate to players?
Yeah, I think you got to get your point across in a certain way. I think as I continue to get familiar with our guys and stuff, I'll be able to teach them more. Obviously, get after them when I need to get after them. Give them a hug when they need a hug. But also basically just give them the right advice day to day, and try to help them grow. Because at the end of the day, we're still here. I'm still here to help them get to where they want to be. And I think that's, like I said, that's who I am and where I've been at all the different stops, and I won't venture away from that.
Anything else, Coach? Thank you.
Thanks, guys.